Hello and welcome to the very first episode of VTuber Battles. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this showdown, I would like to first give this little disclaimer. You see, the characters were analyzed with a complete unbiased intent, and were interrogated within our team thoroughly. The owners of the characters used gave consent to the usage of the characters, and we hope that you really enjoy the analysis for what it is, and to not hate us for the conclusions that we drew. Thank you very much for your time, and let us go ahead and continue with the battle. After reaching out on Twitter to you all, I was quickly contacted by two eager VTubers who wanted to go ahead and duke it out. After receiving their lore and analyzing it, we got the team to start our very first fight. Before we go ahead and enter the arena and introducing the fighters, let me state some ground rules. The contestants will be fighting to the death. All contestants will be using their quote-unquote full potential. Once a fighter is unable to continue, the battle is over and the surviving fighter is victorious. Their battle space will be uninterrupted by third parties, but will allow the flow of, for better words, manipulation. This means magic, shape-shifting, summoning, physics manipulation, etc. Now that we got the rules out of the way, let us go ahead and talk about our first contestant. World War I was deemed to be the war that ended all wars. Unfortunately, this was not true, and as World War II was suspected to be on the rise, we are introduced to our first contestant. John Prayer, or Brother Oliver, is a human who was forced with the unfortunate circumstances. His family turned to God and prayed for a healthy life, but was not shown mercy. As an alternative, John's parents made a deal with the devil to sacrifice their souls for the well-being of John and his brother. Of course, the devil being who he is, there was a minor catch. The method on how John was granted well-being was now he is equipped with the demonic abilities granted by the devil himself. Using these abilities, John Prayer just roams the world in search of who he was beforehand, and nothing but chaos surrounds him. So, what exactly can these powers do? With the newly gifted powers to John Prayer, he is able to summon anything he imagines. It will come alive in this phantomish form and cause physical damage to his opponents. This can range from plants, animals, to machines, and John is also granted physical regeneration, physical resistance, and is immune to attacks that he is not able to mentally comprehend. Sounds like quite the monster to deal with, but the more you use a sword, the more dull it becomes. So let's check out the downsides. The cons to the new ability, however, is his mental state. His abilities would be one that, honestly, we just assume would be impossible to defeat. Like, how the hell? However, no mortal man is supposed to have these powers, so his mental state took the toll. John is a victim of schizophrenia and ADHD. His mind tends to wander and will cause random bursts of creatures to be summoned. If his mentality were to keep being pressured in battle, he enters what's called a psychosis break. Phantoms will continue to be summoned, chaos radiates in his immediate area, and he is not in control. While this would be useful in a fight, he unfortunately cannot keep the powers in check. This is like the same thing as giving a gun to someone who can't aim. The possibility of hitting the target is there, but it's not entirely probable. So, just how the hell do you defeat John Prayer? Since he is a human field with demonic abilities, heaven or angelic magic could be harm or disable to John Prayer. If this is not an option, however, others could rely on physically overwhelming him or straight up damaging the soul. You could, in theory, also manipulate him so that his attacks are lethal to him, but that requires an unholy amount of charisma. Aside from that, this concludes the entrance of John Prayer. At the beginning of time, universes were born, holding all forms of life and curiosity. The very first universe to be created was named the Celestial System. A place where gods roamed, showing themselves in humanoid figures or as stars. Each god that populated this universe was responsible for a star system or planet. Gods in this universe also possessed multiple souls that had to be earned. However, one fateful night, the Red Star Prince was born, already in control of two souls within its vessel. This caused chaos within the Celestial System, and they deemed the Red Star Prince to be executed and exiled. Obviously, the prince was not on par with this. This burst of emotions caused their second soul to show and consume the entirety of the Celestial System. A void was created and all life was sucked into it. However, the Red Prince survived and was transported to another universe. one where the planet Earth dwells, to which he now lives and mingles with the mortals. After the chaos caused by his second soul, he realized what needed to be done. He attempted to remove his second soul to only possess the one. Unfortunately, this didn't go entirely according to plan. His second soul still dwells inside, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. After roaming Earth, he decided to give himself the new identity, Pretzel. So, what's up with Pretzel? What can the souls do? His first and more common soul allows him the ability to fly, transform his consciousness into a digital form, and possess other bodies. Another key power to this first soul grants is energy manipulation. With the energy manipulation, Pretz can condense his energy for projectiles and melee enhancements. His second soul, however, relies on a lot more destruction. The second soul will allow the Red Star Prince to have super speed and flight, change the energy manipulation to dark energy manipulation, and can also alter gravity on a very large scale. It can also bend light and mind control the mentally vulnerable. As you can see, this second soul shows a much more chaotic side to Pretz in comparison to the first. The second soul also has the ability to create the void if push comes to shove. However, this requires both a large amount of energy and a significant amount of time. So, just how do you go about defeating the Red Star Prince? One of the biggest things that can be performed to defeat Pretz would be damaging their soul directly. Pretz is extremely vulnerable to soul-related attacks, but for most people this is not a possibility. If that's the case, you could also rely on physically overwhelming him, mind control, or energy manipulation / absorption. Pretz tends to attack in rather impulsive bursts, and is prone to attacking in a blind panic due to how distracted they could become. So, now that the two contestants have shown their personality, powers, and weaknesses, I went ahead and grabbed my team so we could debate on who the winner would be. Upon first glance, John Prayer has a lot more combat experience and is more aware of his powers, surroundings, and conditions. He knows his demonic abilities very well and knows how to position himself correctly for if a psychosis break were to happen. Being a more gruesome fighter, John Prayer would not have any mental hesitation to go for the kill. Pretz, on the other hand, was born on a cosmic scale, automatically making him stronger than the average human and many other living organisms. Pretz's ability to manipulate energy and fly already puts John in a rather awkward spot when it comes to battle. Dark energy manipulation would actually render useless against John Prayer, for there's a very high chance that John Prayer would just assume it's demonic related and just not be affected. Mind control wouldn't work on John either, for he is far too determined and well grounded with himself and his demonic abilities. Pretz could attempt to possess John, but this wouldn't work too well in the fight either. If you were to possess a body, that also means you have to possess their abilities. Pretz is not fit to handle both of his souls alongside John's demonic form and mental state. Now, John Phantoms he summons can deal a healthy amount of physical damage to Pretz, and would actually be rendered lethal if enough hits were to land. However, Pretz's flight and potentially super speed would make it super easy for Pretz to avoid these attacks. So how about their final forms? John's psychosis break against the Red Prince's second soul. If the timing allowed and they both were able to duke it out in the strongest forms, John would absolutely ruin Pretz, until Pretz decided to start the process of manipulating gravity. In all honesty, that ability is very strong, and in theory, John's chaotic phantoms would be able to counterattack and catch Pretz off guard. So, my team and I ran through 7 different scenarios / battles in our debate, and with a win rate of 57%, we conclude that the winner of this first battle is the Red Star Prince himself. Thank you very much for tuning in on the first episode of VTuber Battle, and if you would like to read any of the analysis and the data below, I will have the Google Drive link in the comment section and also the description. Aside from that, I wish you all a wonderful night. Toodles from Taka.